I'm Denise Thibodeau, IWH certified coach, and today I'm super excited because we are going to be talking about HOPE, the menopause program that Longevity has created for all of us women, perimenopause to postmenopause, that are struggling with the symptoms and just struggling in general because of menopause. And today I have a really special guest, Angelica is going to come to us and she's going to share her story of what's happened in the last little while as you've been on Hope. So, if you want to share a little bit about yourself and talk about maybe before the Hope program came in place, while you were on Hope program, and then what's happening after the fact, because I think you probably started your second month now. So
Yes, excellent. Mhm.
awesome. So
Well, thank you. First of all, I thank God and thank Denise for actually putting you in my path. I really believe in divine appointments, so I'm really thankful, first of all. And since it's November, I am very thankful today that you have me here. Well, let me tell you that how I was before. Well, I've been in the health journey since 10 years ago, and I got introduced to longevity because one of my friends was suffering from anxiety, and that's how I got introduced to Dr. Wallach over 10 years. I started taking the the supplements, and I really restored my health. But during the last 3 years, you can say, like, we've always had up and downs. I wasn't being consistent in my supplements, right? And I really suffered. I was suffering from, you can say, just fatigue, lack of energy. My bones were hurting. But I think one major thing was my digestion, that I was vomiting. I couldn't hold anything. I was doing all these, self like medication and all these herbal things at home, right? And nothing was really working. I went to the doctors. I was in and out in the ER, vomiting. Must have lost like over 20 pounds within the last 2 years, right? And I went through studies, MRI. They couldn't find anything, but yet I was with headaches, inflammation. My ear on this side to my right was hurting one day, and then on my left, inflammation. And I really, nothing was staying in my stomach. And one day I just really told, honestly, I one day I just told God, okay, Lord, I said, I know you don't want me sick because I've been preaching about this health journey. I've been saying that you want health for us. And how is it that I suffering from this health? I really believe what your word says, that you want us to have health, right? And I can honestly say that one day in my time with the Lord, he really said, he said, you're gonna pass through all this. He said like this, you're going to know me as my healer. And I said, okay, Lord, then just give me the strength to go through this. As this was like, but the 2 years, and then also the last, so you can say year, this was been happening. As I was growing in the Lord, going in grace in my spiritual walk with the Lord. I was asking the Lord, what should I take? What should I eat? So now the Lord is revealing to me, like, certain things that I needed to change in my body, right? And I took
yeah.
it really seriously because I was like, I don't want any woman to feel this, what I'm feeling. And then he said, I'm putting you through this so you can go help other women. You're gonna go help other women, and you're gonna tell them exactly what I'm telling you. And I was like, okay, Lord. So I started journaling. I knew that I had to journal, but I didn't know what, when and how, right? So I started journaling. And at this time, I'm doing everything. The conference came. They told us the longevity, the live the life you want. The conference was gonna happen. And we just signed up because, after 3 years in COVID, just being enclosed, and no meeting, nothing, no, I just felt like I didn't have like motivation and all this. I said, we're going. So I got my sister, my mom, we went to the event. And let me tell you that when I went to the event, that's uh, changed my life, changed my health, changed my body, changed everything. Because um, when I started to hear Sanjeev, that all about the symptoms of the premenopause and everything, his whole workshop. Literally, I was like on edge on my seat. Literally, I wanted to really take away that little box that he was showing because all the symptoms that he was saying, I was going through that. And
Yeah.
literally, I was humble. I was crying in my seat, literally. And I was like, Lord, thank you because you answered my prayer. You answered me. And I knew that that's exactly what I needed. So as soon as he finished with the conference, I went and I bought the package. I got it. I don't know how to take it. Honestly, I didn't care the directions. I got the three supplements, the three little bottles. Okay, these fabulous three little bottles. Okay, these right here.
Yep. Yep.
And I got two, two, two because the way I was taught that if my condition was really like bad, really bad, right? I don't know if that's the right word, but bad. That I needed to take like large quantities, right? And it was not going to affect my body. And so I took six that evening. And that same night, I slept like a baby. 2 years without sleeping well. Okay, tossing and turning, getting up in the night, just even hot flashes, like sweatiness. But and didn't want to think that I was going through menopause, and I was going already. My period was
Yep.
on and off, you know. But I didn't want to think that I was going through menopause. That really didn't cross my mind, even though my mom would be like, "I think you're going through menopause," you know. But the doctors are not going to tell you that because of the money. I was like, "Okay, mom." So but I ignored her, right? So I slept like the baby.
Don't ignore your mother.
You know what? That's another story. That's another video right here. Okay. So I said, okay, mom. Yeah. Actually, that day I said, yeah, you know what? I think you're probably right. I think I did tell her that like the next day. The next morning we had the conference, and I sure enough I had a light breakfast. I took the same quantities, two in the morning, and I'm going to tell you that that day, my digestion, I was suffering from constipation. Bowel movements were not irregular. You know, I've always had regular bowel movements. No nausea up to now. Let me tell you, no vomiting, no nausea, no headaches, no high flashes today, and to today, right? So that was the next day, and I was with this energy. Let me just tell you, if you think I have energy right now, it's like 7 in the morning, but I had this extremely energy like that day, which I've never. I mean, for the last year, I was fatigued with not energy. Like even my mom was noticing, like, what's wrong with you? Do this, do that, right? And I just been on a really optimistic mindset, clarity, the fogginess, the also like lack of direction, right? I know like prayer does work and all that. God is good and God is faithful, but your body also needs, you need to help your body as well, because I really believe in that, right?
Yeah.
And so let me tell you, the first, this, what do you call the menopause? So the
The
hope. Yeah,
the
the
hope.
hope.
Yeah, the hope product.
In 3 days, I would tell you that I felt fabulous. I restored my health. I don't have any more of the hot flashes. I'm sleeping well. I have this energy. I couldn't bend down because of the because they told me, actually the doctor told me that I had HP pylori, and they gave me medication, antibiotics, which I've never in my whole life taken medication. And I started taking it, which I stopped taking it like on the fourth day because I was tasting the medicine, right? That's how sensitive I was.
Yeah.
And let me tell you that before the conference, I went back to the doctor because I was supposed to get it checked, and they told me that I was negative. He's like, I don't know exactly what you did, he said, the doctor, but whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And let me tell you that because I was so desperate, I didn't know what to do, and I was lacking, at that time, like money. I didn't have a lot of money. I was only taking the enzymes and the plant minerals at that time.
Yeah.
So when he said that, I was like, it must have been that. I was like, it must have been that healed me. Besides that, I've been asking God, to heal me, right? But when these came, I really feel like my health. I've gotten taken control of my health. I have my health back. That I'm restored, and I'm gonna tell you that. Well, like you said, I took it for the 30 days, and I can eat well now. I still watch what I eat, right? but I haven't thrown up. I don't feel nausea, what I used to feel before, and I feel good. And now I want to share my testimony because I did feel the difference in one day.
Yeah, it's really interesting because let's just go over a little bit about the symptoms of menopause, right? Because I think they slip into our lives and we just think, oh, that's off. But is that I guess it's just I'm getting older. But I think if we just kind of highlight some of these menopause symptoms, people might this may help you go, maybe it is in menopause, right? Because a lot of people, it's interesting, the triggers of menopause or the symptoms of menopause when Sanji and so I'll just go back a little bit. So Longevity offered an incredible women's conference, and there was probably about 150 of us in the room, and then we had I don't know how many thousands up on that were zooming in, and it was all about women. And one of the things about our CEO, Michelle Wallach, or COO, is that she went to her husband and said, "Listen, what can we have for women going through menopause? Because there's nothing really out there. People don't really talk about menopause. There isn't
Hmm.
like, you know, my mother never spoke to me about it, but I know at the age of 85, she still was having night sweats and hot flashes, right? And I'm
Hmm.
like, hey, I've been in menopause for 22 years. I don't want to do another 20 years with this. So, what was really interesting is that when Sanji and Michelle started speaking, and these are the designers with the design team from Longevity creating hope, they talked about, yeah, we know about hot flashes, right? Your thermostat goes up. We know about night sweats when you have to, like, your bed gets soaked. There is irregular periods. We know that. There's mood changes. There's breast
Hmm.
soreness. There's a decrease in libido,
Hmm.
vaginal dryness, right? Reoccurring UTIs, fatigue. We just figure sometimes fatigue is because we're just busy, right?
Hmm.
But I want you to kind of figure out if you're not sleeping well, that could be a contribute to that. Brain fog. I remember like feeling it and you're constantly spinning and you can't settle.
Hmm.
I probably lived in brain fog for 20 years, not even really understanding what brain fog was until you clear up and you go, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
The other thing is digestive issues. That was your big thing,
Yes.
right? Then
Yes.
there's sleep issues, weight gain, anxiety, depression, irritability. Those are all typical
Yes.
symptoms of
Yes.
menopause. But then the uncommon, I'm going to list those off too. So it might trigger headaches, major for me. Did you have headaches?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Burning mouth. That is another one that's
Mm.
like, I talked to my friend. I says, "What's that like?" Because it's just like, it was like when you ate something hot, your mouth would burn,
Mm.
but she's not eating anything hot and her mouth would.
Mm.
Change in taste, acne will show up,
Mm.
joint pain, and frozen shoulder.
Oh, yes, I did get that.
And this was weird because I was like, I
Yeah.
remember going to physiotherapy and going to see my doctor because this shoulder was just getting so sore and I couldn't even lift my arm above my head. So I had to do all these exercises.
Mhm.
And that was probably about 40, I was 48 to 50 years old, and I was starting to get
Mhm.
that symptom. Then you have itchiness, thinning hair, brittle nails, dizzy spells, overactive
Mhm.
bladder. That could be an
Yes.
Olympic sport for most of us as we're running to the bathroom, right?
Mhm.
Allergies, irregular heartbeats, and tinnitus. So those are, I didn't even realize those were symptoms of
Mhm.
menopause. So for you, as you were, so in the products, there's three things. One is a probiotic that
Mhm.
is specifically
Fabulous.
designed for women's health. Some of the best strains of probiotic, and this has been in research and development for 2.5 years. So this thing should
Mhm.
come out like, let's design something, bring it out in a month from now. So they have put a lot of research on the ingredients because it's all natural, right?
Mhm.
So the
Yes.
probiotic is pretty remarkable, and we're hearing it helps you stop vomiting, nausea,
Mhm.
constipation. So it's regulating that for you.
Mhm. A lot of inflammation too.
And a lot of inflammation. That's
Yeah.
right. So then the
Mm-hmm.
next product they designed was called Life Balance. And Life Balance is the one product in there that helps with your blood sugars because we can have a lot of blood sugar spiking. So that's why this was developed to help that. And I love this and hormone balancing. So
Mm-hmm.
this is really important insulin and cortisol. So do you feel that as your estrogen and your progesterone were going down, was your cortisol levels starting to increase where, you would flight and fight? And were you able to settle yourself down quick, or was it slowing down compared to when you were younger?
I was able to do it quick.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
With
because
hope?
yeah, because once I knew that that's what I was going through, then I took control of that. And I think
Yeah.
this is where a lot of women, and God was showing me too that sometimes when we're ignorant or we don't know, right, the symptoms or we don't know,
Yeah.
well, we have that mentality, that victimized mentality, like, oh, I can't do this, and and we feel so hopeless, right? And that's why I love the name Hope, right? Because I felt hopeless. Why? Because I really didn't study. I didn't get, like, you're explaining all the symptoms, right? I didn't take that time, even being a health coach. Let me tell you that for those health coaches out there, I didn't take the time to even read the ingredients, the symptoms, right? But once I got that illumination that day in the conference, I was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm taking control of my body, my health, So that was very illuminating. Yeah.
That's exactly right, right? Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I think the door is open for us, like just like you.
Yes.
I've been, really seeking God and asking God to, He's brought me into this new adventure. And
Mhm.
my health journey has been quite interesting. And I feel like I'm back in my 30s when I'm 61 because I've learned what Dr. Wallach's philosophy is about good
Mhm.
nutrition with your minerals, your vitamins, those important things. And when you're
Mhm.
nutrifying your body, and now as we're working in, passing through the menopause stages, when you are fueling your body with the right ingredients to help with those symptoms,
Yes.
you may not even have any symptoms that show up,
Mhm.
right? Or you're
Right.
going to see correction, just like you
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
correction, so the symptoms are not activated. And that
Yes.
is like, if you can have a good night's sleep, like my night sweats would
Mm.
light up at 2 o'clock in the morning, light up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was running to the washroom, like so into like
Yeah.
not having that restful sleep. Now,
Yes.
seriously, I'm sleeping from 11 o'clock at night till 7, 6:30, waking up energized, going to the
Mm.
washroom between 5:30 and 6. If I choose to go back to bed, I'm right back to sleep again. But the night sweats at 2 a.m., completely done.
Yeah.
Or and then the 5 o'clockers this week, I only had one at 5 o'clock. It was about 5:30, just before I got up to go to the washroom this
Wow.
week,
Mm.
which was Monday. I had that. Oh, I've got a little bit of a flame.
Mhm. Yes.
Hot flashes during the day normally for me was like a between 8:30 9 o'clock at night. The little flame would show up. Nope,
Mhm.
it's gone. So
Wow.
what they formulated for us in Hope, if you want more information about that, just reach out to anybody who's invited you to this call to watch. And Angelica, where do you think your life would be if it wasn't for Hope in your life right now?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I can't even imagine what it'd be, because I'm gonna tell you that I've always been a healthy person, or not healthy, but I never suffered from any health conditions. Thank God. God has always kept me away from the doctor. So this was very difficult for me. I was already in depression, anxiety, and hopeless. And I think I got to the point where literally I wanted, like, to run. Like, I wanted just to get away from the environment, to the point. And this, as you're telling me this, I remember when my mom, we didn't know about Dr. Wallach. My mom, they actually took her to psychiatrists, and they were going to put her in there because she was taking all this medicine. They didn't know what was wrong with her. and they she was already hallucinating, because she didn't know, right? What we don't know, right? And as you're telling me this, they told her you're having mental issues, psychiatrist, like, and we're gonna put you in here. They wanted to literally put her into a mental psychiatrist because she was already really hallucinating. All the medication, honestly, that she was taking um, was not working for her. And I think, as you're telling me this, I think if this would have not came, maybe I would have been going through the path, through that direction.
So
Um,
duplicating what your mother had done.
yes, exactly. Duplicating and going through that pattern. And I'm really thankful that this came to my life, that I'm restored, and it breaks here and I really believe that it breaks every curse of infirmity, here, because I really believe in that. And since my mom restored her health, and I'm already restored, and I really believe that, restored, like it says here, rejuvenate, rewind, restore.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue that, and I'm going to pass that on to my children, and that I'm going to be healthy. And I always tell everybody, I'm going to live up to 120, because Dr. Wallach says I'm going to live up to the 120, and God says 120, so I'm going to live to 120,
And
right?
and I
So,
think I think that, kind of reflecting as women, I think it doesn't matter how old you are, if you're in perimenopause, menopause, or post, right? One of the things what I've reflected back is what was my grandmother? What was my grandmother like? Both of them that I had,
mhm,
blessed with my life. What was the path my mother took? What's happened to my sisters? And
mhm,
that might kind of give you an understanding of what you might be going through with menopause. But
mhm,
I always go back to wisdom and understanding it, and knowledge is what is the power to bring us truth of what we could be doing. And I think what I
yeah,
love about hope, it's simple, simple ingredients, lots of science-based factual information, like lots of
mhm,
research, and if you want to look up the research, we have links that we can send you for research. But, I am
mhm,
hearing all kinds of incredible stories. One of them about vaginal health, because part of the probiotic is that there is support for vaginal microbiome. I didn't know anything about a microbiome for your vaginal
mhm,
area. They also have healthy vaginal pH. They also have something for your vaginal flora. Like I had no idea. And I know this is getting
mhm.
a little bit wild, but wi-
So we,
women suffering in that area,
yes. Mhm,
and they are, not interested in their partner, all these things. That's not
mhm,
natural. That is part of, and what's cool, what's really interesting is that I'm hearing things changing for so many women in that
yes.
area. So that
Mhm.
is like
Yeah.
super exciting. And even the incontinence that people are having, that's sort of, I really truly believe the probiotic is supporting that struggle as well. So I don't know if you've experienced anything in those two areas.
Actually, no, I have not in that area.
Okay, okay. So it's different. This is the thing, right?
Hmm.
Everybody is different. Every experience will be what your body needs will pull and correction will come. And
Hmm.
I think that's what hope's all about. And so we can be
Yes.
messengers for all of you guys that are
Yes.
interested in learning about solutions
Hmm.
on your health journey with hope. So, is there any parting words that you would like to say, Angelica?
Yeah, I do want to just emphasize a little bit, because as I was waiting for my auto ship, I did stop taking them. And I'm going to tell you that I did start getting a little bit more of the symptoms, right? And I have to tell you what I've learned, and getting educated here, that Sanjeev did say that we need to take these into our 70. When I heard him say that, okay, that's going to be part of my lifestyle, right? And I've always promoted, or you could say encourage that being healthy, it's a lifestyle, it's a choice lifestyle, and this is something that you need to take and implement because you're giving the body what it needs. So when you're giving the body what it needs, it starts healing itself, naturally. And I'm gonna tell you that that time when I wasn't taking it, because it was must have been like just a long weekend, like 4 days. I didn't take it. I was already like getting anxiety. I was getting, all this. I said, no, 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 I got to get, stick to this and never stop. So I want to just encourage everybody that if you start the program, continue. Because I get that all the time. And how long do I have to, start taking them? How long? Well, you have to take them for life. That's what Dr. Wallace says. While we're still breathing, we need to make it into our lifestyle. So I really want to just emphasize that you give the body what it needs, and it's just gonna heal by itself,
Yeah.
and restore your health. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing. So for me, I agree 100%. I'm on my second month. I just started my second month with Hope and seen a lot of changes, but it's part of my health journey that
Mm-hmm.
I'm on. So I just want to thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for being part of Longevity, being a
Thank,
voice for
mm,
women. And
thank,
it's been a real honor and a privilege. And may God just bless you in
thank
your
you.
endeavors, and may you just touch so many people's lives so that they can
Thank,
find what you have found, hope
hope.
with your life.